If Nolan Wells' dad was offered by the football coach to observe the land on Horn Island, they went out there. Why in the hell didn't they see Nolan Wells? But when the Cajun Navy go out there, all of a sudden, y'all see Nolan Wells. Do I need to mention that these people in the Cajun Navy are tight-knit and probably know the parents of the fake-ass friends that was with Nolan Wells? Watch this. Check this out, y'all.
Why would they not be able to make a visual ID?
I'm assuming because he was outside and in the elements for a day or so. It's hot, it's July, it's very warm weather. However, in most cases where I have seen drownings where the person is underwater for a period of time, their body is pretty well preserved, unless we're talking about like multiple days, weeks that this person is underwater. Usually the water is cooler temperature, and if that person is face down in the water or completely submerged, their body is pretty well preserved until they surface. Usually a body after a couple of days surfaces. So I'm really surprised that he was on the shore. I've never personally investigated a drowning case where a person just ends up on the shore, especially if there's not a strong current or waves. Usually in bodies of water, the person will stay in pretty much the location where they go underwater if it's witnessed. They don't usually move around much after they have submerged or gone underwater. So to me, it's very concerning that he was on the shore, or that his body surfaced that quickly. There should be a death investigation report from a death investigator who has experience looking at bodies and has experience examining these type of things to show exactly what his condition was when he was found. And if the body is decomposed more than what you would normally expect in a drowning case, that should be a big red flag. That's something that you definitely need to look into further.
You find it odd that he was quasi on the shore. You also stated that location where the body is found is typically where they went under. You also said that the body must have been too decomposed to make a facial ID. I did not hear an explanation as to why fingerprint ID was impossible.
Fingerprint identification would be impossible if the hands were dried out to an extent where they can't be fingerprinted. Sometimes people that are underwater, or if the hands are underwater, the skin, just like if you're in the bathtub for a prolonged period of time, the skin ends up looking the same way. It just gets kind of wrinkled, and it's very hard to get a usable or workable fingerprint in those scenarios. So one scenario would be the body is too decomposed to get a fingerprint or a visual identification. And then the alternate scenario is the body or the hands were exposed to the water too long to where they just are not able to get a good workable print. So those are the different possibilities. But again, his position at the edge of the bank or partially in the water, that's really concerning because there's tons of people around that area. If he was in that position or on the shore decomposing for a day or so, why did nobody see him? Those would be my type of questions that I would ask if I were a death investigator responding to this scene.
Jeff, I'm looking right now at the photo of his body, and it's about, the beach is flat, and I would say it's about 3 to 4 feet from where there's nothing but sand, no water. It looks like it's at just as the water is starting, like you could walk in it very easily and your ankles may not even get wet. He's not out in the water at all. He's on the beach and on wet sand. That's the way to put it. It's wet sand. He's not out in the water, Jeff Gentry. What does that mean, if anything?
That's really abnormal. I would have a ton of questions in that case. I would wonder, if there's no waves, no strong current, why is that body up on a shore? How did it get there?
Because somebody probably placed him there. That's why it's abnormal for the body to be on the sand and not in the water.
Just like when we're looking at blood evidence or other forms of evidence, if something is in a certain position within a scene, you have to question how it got there. I have investigated a lot of deaths, bodies in canals, rivers, lakes, large bodies of water, never really near the ocean, to where you would expect somebody to wash up to shore. But in these cases, even though there's strong current, waves, large bodies of water, I've never really seen bodies up on a shore, especially up out of the water enough to where they could decompose significantly to where they can't be identified or can't be fingerprinted. So that would be a very big question that I would have in this case is with the absence of waves, with the absence of a strong current, how in the world did this, 19-year-old man end up on shore out of the water?
Real questions, real details from a death investigator, not some damn body from the Cajun Navy. He don't have a dog in a fight, but somebody from the Cajun Navy who potentially probably know every damn body in Ocean Springs. He's always going to say something about Nolan Wells drowning.
You disagree with Jeff's characteristic. Explain.
Wind, wave, tides, currents. If you look, there's also there's some pictures, some aerial pictures that show driftwood way on the beach. Those four things are what impacted, as I appreciate, where Nolan ultimately ended up. If you look in one of those pictures, ma'am, a wave is about to come right over and crest right near where the body's at. So that shows that there is some wave actions and some currents. The winds, the waves, the tides, the currents have a huge impact on anything that's put into that water.
Shut your ass up. I don't trust you, your beard, or your mustache. You right along with John Ledbetter and the rest of them. I don't care who crib you went to. I don't care who parents you spoke to. If you're saying Nolan Wells drowned, you're the op. Fuck out of here.
Straight to a special guest, Josh Gill with the Cajun Navy, who, as you know, searched for Nolan's body. Josh, thank you for being with us. The
Morning, ma'am.
day unfolded when Nolan's body was found very bizarrely. You were there. I'm going to get to your trip to the coroner's office along with the family, but I want you to start at the beginning. What happened at the beginning of that day? We believe that Nolan likely died on July the 4th. Let's start with the day that Nolan's body was found and that you ended up at the coroner's office. Start at the beginning.
So early that morning, I deployed some resources. I deployed an aircraft, fixed-wing aircraft that wheels up at 0635, as you can see right there from the photographs. I was on my way to the Lake Mars boat launch. That's where the Tactical Operations Center was set up. And I received a phone call. Received that phone call from the Sheriff's Department that a body had been found. Didn't say who it was. I was probably 15 minutes out from the location. I then received a phone call within minutes after the conversation from the sheriff's office from Nolan's mother, Christine, and she was frantic. Again, that mother's intuition, she knew what was going on. So I'm meeting at the boat launch. I was there about 15 minutes ahead of time. Had
Hold on
conversations
just
with
one
the
moment.
sheriff.
Hold on.
Yep.
For those of you just joining us,
Yep.
Josh Gill is with us. He is the United Cajun Navy Incident Commander in the search for Nolan Wells. You stated that you received a phone call from Nolan's mother, Christine. You said she was frantic. What was she saying?
Nancy Grace, why do you have him on your show talking about Nolan Wells' mom's feelings? Why do you have this guy on here telling us some shit we already know?
So again, I'm going to paraphrase. She said that they had found him, that they had found a body. My biggest concern at that exact moment was to make sure that she was safe, that she had, a safe way to get there, because it was the beginning of what's more than likely to be the worst day of her life. Again, so continuing on.
Hold on. Josh, you got me drinking from the fire hydrant here. Every word you're saying sparks 100 questions. So
Sure.
Nolan Wells' mother calls you, okay? Where was she when she called?
She was en route to the boat launch as well. We were meeting there
Okay.
For the search.
Okay. Had she been told that a body had been found?
Yet when she called me, so we had earlier communication, but via text, when she called me, she told me that a body had been found. She had been notified by the sheriff's department.
Oh, gosh. No wonder she was frantic. So she calls you. She's just been told by the sheriff a body has been found. She calls you. You're going to the boat launch. What boat launch? Where?
That's the Lake Mars boat launch.
So you agreed with her. Did she ask you to meet at the boat launch?
Oh, she knew I was going to that boat launch, and she actually asked me that morning, early that morning, where we were going to meet. And I told her, here's the best place. Here's where the operation is beginning.
Okay.
It was a secured location by the sheriff's department. So, that's where they were running their operation on. And that's a common practice.
Question. Do you know why Nolan's mother wanted you to go with her to Horn Island?
What the how is this even relevant? Look, man, I'm telling you, this that white man Christ Caesar Borgia shit. They're trying to paint this guy as a savior. He was the one that was cuddled up with Nolan Wells' mom. He's passionate, and he came out there and rescued everybody. Bullshit. Get to the real details of what's going on, which is Nolan Wells was surrounded by a lot of people, and his body was found on the sand after his father already walked Horn Island. Stop trying to feed us this emotional ass white man Jesus bullshit.
So we had communication. She called me, literally called me. We had a voice conversation that Sunday morning, about 7:00, 7:30. She had called and asked for some assistance. After that phone call, I asked to memorialize all of our conversations so I could go back and look at information. And that's not uncommon
What kind
for
of
families to
assistance
call
did
us
she
and
need?
ask us, find my son. There it is.
So she asked you to help find her son. That assistance. Okay, got it. Okay, go ahead.
Yes. Yeah, so she asked for that assistance, find my son, find Nolan. Started gathering information on who he is, who he was with, where he was. She made it very clear that he was with some friends, that they had been on Horn Island. So then I start launching resources immediately. And then
Okay,
after I
hold on
launched the
right there.
resources,
Hold on. Josh, what
Yep.
specifically did she say about him going to Horn Island with friends, if you can recall?
So she said that he went to Horn Island with friends. It's July 4th, and Horn Island's a location that's well known and well visited by people partying and hanging out for July 4th. It's a huge boating community, and that was a location where boats congregate and enjoy the 4th.
That wasn't the damn question. That wasn't what she asked you. She asked you,
What specifically did she say about him going to Horn Island with friends?
she didn't ask you what date it was. We know it was the 4th of July. We know people like going out there. She didn't ask you that. You doing the same shit that Warren be doing. When somebody asks your ass a question, you explaining some bullshit.
Okay, so she says he went to Horn Island on the 4th with friends. Got it, okay. So you meet at the boat ramp. And when you first saw her, what was her demeanor?
So she came to me. She gets out of the vehicle, comes to me, gives me a big hug. Again, it's a mother who her intuition is that her body was just found. So obviously sad.
According to what we learned,
and
the moment she gets out of the vehicle, she runs straight to you and is hyperventilating.
Absolutely. She came straight to
What
me.
happened?
20 people. She gives me a big hug and starts crying. And look, I'm a softie. I started crying with her. We literally sat in the parking lot on the ground in the gravel for probably 15 minutes. And we had some pretty deep discussions. She cried. I cried with her, and her husband was there as well. And I want to say this, that he's a very stoic individual, and he stood there with his hand on both of our shoulders and was a part of everything.
What was the dad saying, if anything?
He was, he was really quiet. He was a quiet gentleman, but his physical presence afforded her, made her feel safe. And I will say that, he stood there with us, on the ground. He's there. And his presence said a lot, and it meant a lot to his wife, to Miss Christine. And again, that's a tough time for him as well.
So she's crying. You state that she knows deep inside that that body is her boy, her son. You start crying. Did you remain standing in the parking lot or did you sit down?
No, ma'am. Like I said, when she first came to me, she gave me a big hug, and I wrapped my arms around her, and we sat down.
I can't hear no more of this shit. Let's talk about them damn friends. I'm starting not to trust a whole lot of people. And what do y'all think the chances is that this guy knows the people and the family of the fake ass friends of Nolan Wells? It's just something I don't trust about these Cajun Navy guys. Why in the hell they are trying to keep the conversation that Nolan Wells drowned? Why are they still talking about surface level shit? We understand the mother was crying. We understand that you hugged her and you was crying right along with her. When are we going to start focusing on some details? We already know the Cajun Navy found him. Why aren't y'all speaking about who Nolan Wells was seen with? Or who he came to the island with? Because y'all probably cool with these people. Y'all probably know these people for years. You miss me with that you was crying with her shit. You miss me with that you're a softie shit. I don't trust your beard or your mustache. And for you to sit up there and disagree with the guy that's letting you know he's a death expert, he's giving you the details. For you to say that you disagree with somebody that's giving you details and your unwillingness to expound on details and try to keep the conversation surface level, I'm starting not to trust a lot of people. And I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all. Nancy Grace might be on the case, but if you keep talking about surface level shit, I'm gonna start side-eyeing you. Because why in the hell ain't nobody talking about these friends like J. Megan is? You see how much she's talking about the coordinates and the GPS and who was on what boat? That's the shit that we need to be talking about. And we ain't gotta accuse nobody of being guilty just to talk about the details of something. But if you keep things surface level, it makes me believe you're trying to help hide something. Here it is. It's a whole damn 2 months later. And you're still talking about, yeah, we found his body and the mother was crying. We know that shit already. Let's talk about y'all connections out there. Let's talk about who was on these damn boats and why y'all ain't got nobody in that damn interrogation room. I'm not going for this Mr. Nice Guy shit. Seriously. And the reason why Elmo was probably quiet around your ass is because he probably was thinking something else, trying to hold himself together just for his wife and to keep the peace. But I want y'all to listen to something. Anytime something is mentioned about a foul play or blunt force trauma or anything, I want y'all to hear how dismissive he is. Check this out.
She asked about the condition, and he went into there were no immediate signs of foul play. Okay. To me, again, my opinion in hearing this is, no signs of blunt force trauma, or any, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, any, signs of foul play. But we would consider that.
Well, I guess they hadn't seen that big red mark on the back of his occipital yet, underneath the skin. And I take it at this juncture, Josh, his throat had not been dissected to look for potential subcutaneous bruising. So
Sure.
You're telling me that from a cursory look at Nolan Wells's body, there was no sign of foul play such as a stab wound or a bullet wound or bruises, deep gouges on the head. That, in my experience, having tried so many homicide cases, I cannot count them, is what you get from a cursory look at a body. Would you agree?
So, correct. I'm not a medical examiner nor a coroner. I have gathered information and heard multiple people speak on that, especially about the red spot, right? We'll quote unquote call it the red spot. And as I appreciate that may be pooling or whatever, it could possibly be cellular decomposition. Again, I'm not a medical examiner or a coroner, but I do know what the coroner said at that that first meeting with him.
Let's get
Man,
back.
I don't trust no damn body out there in Mississippi, bro. I need to see your tattoos. I need to know your history. Somebody else from another state should have been on this case, bro. Whoever was around Nolan Wells should have been in the damn interrogation room. Stories should have been compared with each other. What the hell are they doing? I don't trust no damn body. I don't care how many damn bombshells you got in your title of your video. I'm starting not to trust Nancy Grace at this point. Seriously. But as I've been doing, I'm going to keep giving y'all the information, the latest on what's going on. And that's the end of the video. The way y'all can help is continuously liking the video, continuously hyping these videos, and subscribing to let the algorithm know they need to push this video. If we can't do that, then it's just going to hold the video back and nobody's going to see this information. And this is how the story starts to die down. We can't have that. There is way too many leads. J. Megan got way too much shit going on. She doing FBI work over that motherfucker. And I'm not saying she's a professional or anything, and everything is all alleged, but why the professionals ain't doing this type of work? They want to keep everything surface level. We already know he was found in the water or on the sand. We know that shit already. We know his mother was crying. We know the Cajun Navy found him. But why wasn't he found when his father friends had offered to go look for Nolan Wells? Why all of a sudden he's found now when y'all go out there? And the parents of the people who was around Nolan Wells, they connected with judges, lawyers, governors, and shit like that. Man, hell no, man. Y'all get in the comment section, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this guy on Nancy Grace. Y'all let me know what y'all think about Nancy Grace. They keep talking about surface level shit and ain't getting into the details or nothing. Y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Big Kish signing out. I'm gone, y'all.